And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in our Solar Expanse run here. Once again, we're going to be transporting more stuff to Saturn to build more gas extractors so we can get more nitrogen from it. So we got alloys at Callisto, we got polymers at Ganymede. Jupiter right now needs polymers more than alloys. We'll almost certainly need more alloys once we get its polymers. So first stop, Ganymede for polymers. Don't I only have one Zeus? Yeah, I only have one there. I have one inbound. It's just not showing me it correctly from where it's coming from. Okay. Don't bring anything with you, because you're doing just there. And then from Ganymede, like a return trip to Jupiter orbit, add polymers. Pick up what's there, ride the Pelican orbit, bring it back. Oops, I may have just queued up taking a bunch of the hydrogen back. I parked in Ganymede orbit for transiting. I'll just have to make sure to bring hydrogen with us the next time. Okay, it's back, so we can get some more queued up. And now we need polymers. So next trip, go to Callisto or alloys. Now we go to Callisto to pick up alloys. Plugging back to orbit. Don't take hydrogen with you, because we don't need hydrogen at Jupiter. Jupiter to Callisto. And Callisto back to Jupiter. There we go. Queue more up. The alloys or the polymers that runs out first? Is in fact the alloys. Okay, so that's what we got in the local system. So if I want more, I need to drag it up for either Mars or the Moon. Or both. I have a Zeus at Mars. Let's drag up alloys from Mars then. Alloys, the polymers. I have a Teraton, so I've got plenty of launch capacity. Okay. And then we'll fill the rest of the ship up with electronics? Yeah, with electronics. Terrator into orbit. Optimal transfer. Don't bring any fuel because you're going to a fuel gas station. There we go. Okay, so on Mercury, we're building magnetospheres. I need to build up the silicon production so that we can get the glass kilns going again. I'm not worried about depleting Mercury's silicon stockpile or silicon mining capacity. Or, well, to the degree that I am worried about running it out, it's replaceable because we can crash more asteroids into it to get more back. Okay, so we got Themis inbound. It's got a mission for that. Okay. After Themis is Threa. Threa is a big enough one that is going to require 24. On my list here, we're down to Hedea. Debrucian. Not one of my favorites. We'll favorite. It's got people in it. TT9025 has no people. Never got anyone to there, or to there, or to there. Okay. So I'm trying to get all the people, all my research places sorted. And then Jupiter Greeks. Did I put anyone on the Jupiter Greeks? I think we did on one. No, I didn't. Okay. So now that my favorite is, in theory, every place I think we have people. Because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the places we have people. Right, so we've got people in Freya, Thule, Adia, Devotion, Themis. We've got inbound. Ceres we'll probably want to move at some point, but I'm thinking about not crushing Ceres. Ceres is like the most massive of the asteroids in that some people would classify as a planetoid. And then Lutetia, at this point, I think we're just going to mine out Lutetia manually. It has 120-something years, so I think it's within the realm of plausible for mining out. Before we crash it. So we probably won't really crash Lutetia. Yeah, so these are probably all the ones we're going to crash. I may want to set up another elevator on Mars and Mercury, but we're not in a real rush to those. The Terratorns will do what we need to get off of those. So I think we just let some time pass. But do I have what I need on Luna to build a better launch vehicle? Is maybe an argument to get a Terratorn here. Alloys, yeah. Get me a bigger launch vehicle on Luna. So I'm not bound by the 9 kilotons of launch. I can go the full, effectively 120. Basically at full Zeus loads coming off of the moon when I want to get stuff off the moon. Silicon mine added to Mercury. Okay, the more silicon we got, the more we can get actually running, the glass kilns running in on Mercury. And a transit complete. Jupiter, Mars, Mars to Jupiter. Okay, so that is nitrogen release time. Venus, I don't think is ready for more. Yeah, I'll probably want to do full ship loads. We're not there yet. Venus. We're increasing the extraction on Jupiter so we can have more ship loads more frequently. Titan orbit has 2 loads of water. And that is about it. I've got a Zeus ready for transit. You take water to Mars. Oops, I gotta add the water. Otherwise it's gonna not be particularly useful. And then that means I also have a spare Zeus here, which will do the return trip in the same window. Oh no, I already planned that one for the return trip to Jupiter. It's already called for. That's fair. And then Saturn, we're waiting. It's going to be a long wait because we're not extracting very fast there. Oh, that was my nitrogen return. Okay. Polymers have arrived, so we get more orbital gas extractors going. There we go, and we're alloys short. That's actually an interesting situation to be. I'm going to actually move hydrogen to Mercury orbit then. One of these Zeuses. And in exchange, we're going to have the Zeus at Mercury bring alloy to Jupiter. Do I want to start solar shading, or do I want to continue focusing on extraction? I think I want to continue focusing on extraction. Okay, the Mercury swap is complete. The Terratorn is done on the moon. So I can get pretty heavy lifts off the moon. Okay, so we're back to being alloy limited, although pretty much alloy and polymer limited. Next shipment would be coming from the moon to Jupiter. Might as well get the ship full for the trip. Optimal transit. Go. And Jupiter, again, we're going to continue to, whenever we have a ship, we're basically going to have them swap spots so they're always ready to go. And we got a load ready. Horrible gas extractors being produced. And again, the more we have, the more rapidly we're going to get the nitrogen off of Jupiter. There is... I'll pause it for a moment, we can see how much there is there. There is megatons of nitrogen on Jupiter still left. Hundreds of megatons. Well, that maybe is the argument to maybe go over to one of the other places, is there's only hundreds of megatons. Looks like Uranus is a pretty bad place. It's like not even 100 megatons at Uranus. Yeah, looks like it's mostly Saturn, Saturn, Jupiter for nitrogen. From an effective yield standpoint, I suppose. More oil to gas extractors, and the Planetary Medosphere done. Why did you not get any alloys? I shipped some from the moon. Or I was supposed to shipping some from the moon. It only launched my... Unless I made the alloys that fast, I only launched the polymers for whatever reason. Huh. That's not how that's supposed to work. Okay, we'll just try again. We'll do the alloys next. Jupiter, Luna to Jupiter. Zeus. Bring the alloys. Bring more electronics. To be fair, I probably don't need as much glass production on Mercury, but we're producing glass, so... maybe a better way to say it. I don't need as much glass production anymore, but we have it, so... I'm still trying to get this thing up and running. We're at 58 of 82. Okay. So it's supposed to consume 8.2 plus the 0.4 there. So yeah, it's gonna be a while before we get that full speed. Because we dropped to the lesser mine, and the lesser mine is not as good as the former mine. Although we're not worried about it running out anytime soon, so we should be able to keep this glass production going. Okay, I've got a Zeus in orbit here if I need to do a transfer anywhere. Oh, I got more water to transfer there. Let's get you to Titan. Mars and Titan. Mars to Jupiter. Yeah, up to 4 kilotons, so that's a good step. And expanding that mining. Almost there. Jupiter orbit arrived at Earth. Why did I have you go to Earth? That was probably meant for the moon. Yeah, that was probably meant for the moon. Although, worst case scenario is just bringing hydrogen, so that's not the end of the world. I'm seeing we got a decent amount of oxygen on Earth. Let's get that transported. Okay, now that should put all the oxygen in orbit, and then the 2 Zeuses can take it to Mars. Themis has arrived at Mars orbit. So Themis has water and carbon, and has a Zeus for unloading. Do I want these resources? Oh, I don't have any surplus water. Where do I want that carbon? So the question is, do I really need that carbon anywhere in specific? We've got a deposit on the moon, so that's not a concern now. Demos, maybe? So this is what I want to continue mining on Demos. That wouldn't actually be the worst case scenario, is to crash something, water carbon into Demos, just have a supply source. Okay, in which case I just need to unload Demos. Okay, let's just unload everything. So things that can't be dropped, well, things that can't be moved. Let's just assemble them. So you and you, and the rest is dropping to Mars. Orbital payload container. Add modules until we get to asteroid engines. And then we add resources. So 6 electronics, 6 glass, 73 metal. That's going to round it down to 72 because of partials. Rares, 6 alloys, 60 food supplies. Give me like that number. Carbon. 32550. Okay, we got the people off. I got most of the stuff off. Okay, so Zeus, feel free to just take the remaining supplies of carbon to the destination. And all the hydrogen. Give you a moment to leave. And then Themis. I'm actually have you crash into Demos, but a water carbon deposit on Demos. So the miners there. Have a food supply. Here in non-depletable food supply. Boom. So now we got a carbon water deposit on Themis, or Demos. And okay, the carbon deposit is only going to last for 6.3 years, but 6.3 years of food, when we already had enough food, feed the people for a while was a good thing. And 6,000 years of water, I think is fine. Okay, engines. Where are we going next? Freya. Freya needs how many engines? Freya needs 24 engines. 1, 11, 21, 22, 23, 24. Off you trot. Freya actually has a pretty decent reserve of water with 28 kilotons on it. Earth orbit arrived at Mars, so that is more oxygen arriving. Just go ahead and release that oxygen right away. And let's send one of these Zeuses to Mercury, so the next time we boost alloys, I can boost more alloys. If it transit up to Jupiter. I don't really have that many polymers, although it doesn't really require a lot of polymers, I suppose, for building these. We're down to 135, so it's mostly alloys, a little bit of polymers. So I suppose I'm actually really waiting more on alloys. Could do a boost from Callisto to get more queued up. We'll wait until we work through the queue a bit. Up to 5 kilotons in Jupiter orbit. Nitrogen. Venus orbit, we're up to 7. Actually, I've got enough to move another batch of CO2. So let's do a CO2 transfer to Mars. And then Titan. Got a Zeus ready to drag water back, so let's have it bring the water back. And then we'll get the other Zeus at Mars during the return trip to Titan. And then let's have Kronos. Okay, got those flipped. Okay, scroll down here to fix it. Orbit, Titan, Kronos. Boosting nothing from orbit to the planet, but from the planet to orbit. I want you to move nitrogen. Resource transferred. 24,000. Jupiter orbit arrived at Mercury. Oh, that was so I could do a large lift of alloys if I wanted. Which I'll go ahead and do. Let's just commit to bringing alloys to Jupiter. The main cost is getting it off the planet. The nice fuel-efficient engines. Titan orbit. Okay, so our nitrogen's in orbit for when the Zeus gets there. Mars orbit arrived at Venus orbit. Should be just about to receive the CO2. Oh, the CO2 has actually already arrived. Okay. Mercury arrived at Jupiter. That was quick. There we go, bunch more queued up. Get me that nitrogen extraction. And then on Mercury, we are, not by much, but I don't really need by much. We are silicon extraction positive. Okay. Another big batch of solar arrays. And then as soon as we save enough, we do another manosphere generator or 2. I think I need 4 to fully get the radiation to go away. Perfect the radiation on Mercury. Something about the recalculations causing it to be a little jittery. I think it's probably the large number of gas extractors. So the gas extractors change based off the partial pressure of stuff. As the partial pressure changes, their extraction changes. Mars at Titan, Titan at Mars. Okay, so that swap completed. That was, in this case, a water delivery, so we've got more water here. I don't think our temperature range, I think, is still too extreme for liquid water to really exist. Otherwise, I'd probably release some of that water. And then we can plan the flip and return. We've got nitrogen for Mars. And on Mars, we got the Zeus ready to go back. And then Kronos, I would like you to boost a load of water. Got a load of water ready. Still fighting that pressure. That pressure is surprisingly hard to get up, although I think that has more to do with the rate I'm restricting myself to nitrogen, oxygen, and relented and started doing some CO2 as well. I could definitely do it faster if I was willing to release hydrogen or helium. Because apparently I'm getting a whole ton of helium. I'm getting more helium than I am nitrogen at the moment. I have no real use for the helium either. Not to that degree. That's a lot. I say I'm restricting myself from the helium. You know what? I'm going to release the helium as well. We're going to bring the helium down to accelerate this. So let's get 2 shiploads of helium delivered. Demos to Freya. So the engines are here. It's time for you to transit to Mars orbit. Go. Jupiter orbit arrived at Mars, so that is my noble gas, or the helium. Release CO2. We'll release the helium. Oh, am I not allowed to release the helium as gas? Interesting. I can't release helium as gas. Okay. Well, good to know. Helium-3 apparently is too valuable to use as atmospheric pressure. Fair enough. let's get these two Zeuses back to Jupiter then. Okay, in the meantime, let's think what I can do to expand production of gas. So, being able to get more assembled would be useful, and obviously not necessarily dragging it from Mercury would probably be the way to go. So on Callisto, we have a very resistant metal deposit here with 1.9 megatons of metal. If I can turn this into alloy, that would be good. At a decent rate. So that's actually a slightly different question. Jupiter, how quickly do I want? Because I'm building 5 at a time. So we're looking 135 times 5 every 90 days. So I want 7.5 tons of alloy being delivered on average every day to keep the orbital constructors going. Callisto currently makes 1.6. So if I can increase the yield here by 4.5, 5 times, I should in theory be able to supply all the alloys from Callisto. What's my power looking like? We got decent power because we dropped a bunch of radioisotope generators here. Although we're roughly making metal at the rate that we're consuming it. That means to increase by a factor of 4, I need to build up 4 times more, or quadruple the metal mining from 100 to 400. Yeah, that's a lot. That's probably more than we're going to be able to support. Although we got plenty of people living here. I'm making plenty of money at the moment, so I don't see a reason to say no. And we're not quite feeding everyone. Oh, that's easy to fix. I think we'll just one farm. So queue up a farm to fix that. And then, yeah, we're looking 100 metal mines. Let's double for the moment, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And I'm out of metal at that point. Okay. Nitrogen orbit arrived at Mars, so that's more nitrogen arriving. There is maybe an argument to do more CO2 splitting so I can get more oxygen rather than CO2. Oh, that's the extractor. Whoops. I'm gonna look at the electrolysis one. This one. Yeah, so we get less tonnage of oxygen, although that's the right stoichiometric mix, give or take a little bit. So that's what you would expect. How much power do I have here? Plenty. One kill electron. Kill E, okay. And I presumably because the population's been growing here like gangbusters, have plenty of people. How much CO2 splitting do I already have? 26. Yeah, let's double this at least. This will mean we'll be making less CO2 from extracting, but we're releasing it back into the atmosphere, so that makes sense. We don't actually want to be stockpiling it from the local source. We want that to be being extracted so we can turn it into CO2. Okay. We're putting CO2 into oxygen. Yeah, I suppose I am making enough alloys that I'm probably better off shipping alloys in order than trying to make it all in Callisto. Although if I'm making enough in Callisto to support Jupiter, then the Mercury one can move on to, say, Saturn or something. Okay, so we've got a load of water here ready to move to Mars. Right into Mars. Yep, continue to just build more and more extractors. I kind of also want to see how many extractors I have here. I wasn't counting. I'm just like, yeah, stuff is supplied. Stuff has been supplied. Just build it. Mars arrived at Jupiter. Okay, so that's a return. Jupiter. And at the same time, we're expanding the metal mining on Callisto. Support increased alloy production. Mars arrived at Titan, so that's probably also the Titan arriving at Mars. Well, the Titan arriving at Mars, which is more water. Which, until I see some liquid, I'm not going to bother going about releasing it. Okay, so I probably get away with a little bit more carbon dioxide splitting. Carbon dioxide plant converts how many per one? 9. So it's 9 per one. So 5.38 divided by 0.09. It's 59 of them in theory to make our stockpile. Well, 60 of them to make it go down slightly. So might as well build up another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Freya has arrived at Mars orbit. So once again, unloading. I could technically go colonize Triton. They'd be stuck there. Just to colonize it, to have it colonized would be the thing to do there. There is nitrogen there. So that would be an interesting place to drag carbon into, so we can use the water locally and the carbon we dragged in to feed the colonists mining the nitrogen. Yeah, that's probably the way to do that. Okay. so if that's the case, let's have the Zeus... Although first, disassemble the surplus stuff. And actually, what I will do is I'll still unload on Mars. We'll do the launch directly from Mars. Because then we can bring along stuff. Bring other stuff along. Do the orbital payload container. Actually, no, we'll have the Zeus do the transit, just because we know that we load up the Zeus out of the way. And load everything up. Except for the engines. Nothing but engines there, yeah. Okay, so 6 electronics. Glass. 6. Metal. Rares. Alloys. Most of the food. We'll leave the last 79 behind so it doesn't complain about lack of food. All the water. Oh, this is on the Zeus, so that's fine. Do that transport. Wait until the crew is away. And then we can do a drop. Rest of the useful supplies. Okay, and now we're going to crash this into Mars. Quick here, remove the engine, backup 1, back advance 1, there we go. We got another Mars collision. Bringing more water, more carbon. Mars orbit, we now have the 24 engines. Next up is Thule, which needs 24 engines. Okay, so 1 Zeus, 2 Thule. The engine's on board. Oops. Zeus. With the engines on board. Optimal. Bring along some extra fuel, just in case I want you to fly out. In the meantime. So I can have one of the Zeuses do a run over to Triton. It would be a one-way run at the moment. Although it could still even have the Kronos to do a run. Dude, the Kronos to transfer. Because then the Kronos could be doing boosting. Yes. Okay, so let's plan a transit. Mars to Triton. Using the Kronos as our transport. I have 6 mobile HABs. So that's enough housing for 120 people. Let's assume we're going to bring 120 people. So 1 large and 4 smalls. I want the radioisotope generators to go along. So we've got some power. Because we're far enough away from the sun that we're not going to be doing any power. Bring you a probe. You really only need 1 construction. Equipment. Got 16 here, but we'll only send you with 1. Yeah, so I think that's all the stuff you want to bring. Let's, Oh. Auto miners. We haven't queued up any auto miners for transit. Let's bring the auto miners along. We've got 26 of those. You're gonna need some alloys to build. And you probably need some food as well. Let's bring along enough that you can have at least one farm going. Then load you up with food. Pelican to orbit. Okay, the Cronus is not going to be able to bring all of this by itself. Although I definitely want the Cronus to go, so let's back up. Mars to Triton, Cronus. Let's have the Cronus go ahead. Well, who would describe that as ahead? Okay, let's change what we're bringing at least. No supplies, no metal. I suppose I gotta remove all this because it's made the thing's been changed. We'll leave the crew behind for the moment, because the crew cares about how quickly they get there. We'll take the mobile habs. Take the mobile habs. Take the radioisotope generators. One construction module, and the mines. Okay, so all the auto mines are going, all the habs are going, radioisotope generators are going, and I need a probe. One probe. Ride the Pelican up. Optimal transfer. In fact, actually go fastest. Feel free to use the hydrogen to get there faster. There you go. Rise there 223.67 June. So when that arrives, we'll have a Zeus come out with the crew. That's what we'll do. CO2 electrolysis finished on Mars. Okay. We're going to have a slight deficit on CO2 on Mars, but that's fine. Exchange will get more oxygen. How many orbital constructors do I have in Saturn? I have 1. I probably want to up that to 5 like I have at Jupiter as well. So on Earth, can you build me 4 orbital construction? Maybe you buy that from the Earth government. That's why I'm building on Earth, to be fair. And we'll do direct delivery from Earth using Zeus. Well, I'm actually having a rain do it. I'm having a rain do it. Got a rain sitting in orbit here. Okay, so the 80 of those are done. Can I get up to 200? No, we're getting 94 though. All 4 of those are done at Earth. Love and rain, deliver them quickly to Saturn. No, say quickly. Eventually to Saturn. It doesn't need to be there anytime soon. Because we're still working on Saturn, but... or working on Jupiter, but prep for Saturn. Whoops. Okay, so there's nothing you do about the interstellar ship. So it's going to complain that this is sort of the uncompleted portion of the game. We sent an interstellar ship to a location. We're getting complaints that it's going to run out of food. It's like, yeah, because we're not able to actually do anything with it. I don't think I'm even able to tell it to come back. So that is what that is. We are at Fool with the engines. Fool has but carbon. It just technically has some water that we've mined before, but it's basically down to just carbon at this point. Where do I want that carbon? 25 kilotons of carbon. I can bring that to Mercury. I think I will bring it to Mercury. Yeah, we'll bring that to Mercury. Cool. In transit. Mercury orbit. Go. That was kind of what we expected. Humans dead on interstellar ship finish. So unless they're like magically sitting in Earth orbit, they're not. Like there's nothing we do about that. Pull to Mercury orbit. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and sort of unload Fool before we crash it into Mercury. So we can't drop the hydroponic farm or the outpost. Let's drop the stuff to Mercury. Fool to Mercury. We'll use the orbital payload container. I'll actually take the already mined stuff elsewhere, but the unmined stuff obviously is going to crash. As far as the carbon in the water is concerned. Mining modules. Really, game? You're dropping by a method that does not actually care how many tons you're dropping. Oh, drop most of the foods. 8,000 tons of food. Okay, people are unloaded. We'll have the Zeus. I think I want that water and stuff on Demos, so we'll do a transit over to Demos with it. Cool the Demos, Zeus. The supply is the carbon, the water. Okay, may as well take the hydrogen with you. Once you leave, there's not going to be anything here, so we're going to make sure you get to Demos first. Don't necessarily know how the game handles tracking if you're destroying the source. Fuel to Mercury. Oops. Review. Entire asteroid. There you go. Okay. And with the water and carbon here, which in theory buys us more time before we run out of carbon. In fact, apparently they've already mined the carbon out, so that's definitely the extension here. So that's gave us 600 years of carbon. Yeah, I think that's a good trade-off. Okay, and then we want you to go back to Mercury to pick up the engines for the next destination. Our next destination is going to be Hadia, which only requires 21 engines. Medea still does have water, so we'll be crashing it into Mars. Okay, it's only 20 kilotons, but it's more than nothing. Demos to Mercury. Engines to Hedea. So it's 21, so 1, 11, 21. Optimal transfer. Again, you only really need enough fuel that you can probably take the engines back if you needed to. That's more than enough. Still building more orbital gas extractors at Jupiter. More. Always more. Arrived at Hedea. And again, Hedea has water, so you're going to Mars orbit. Up to 4 tons of nitrogen per day. Although, if we use Earth as an estimate, I need 8 megatons to fully terraform Mars. So, it's still going to be a long time. Got nitrogen to boost on Titan, Kronos, Titan, cyclical mission, Kronos. Nothing in orbit. Add nitrogen on the ground. Resources transferred. 1 Zeus load, please. That probably means I need to get a Zeus ready to go pick it up. So you head out to Titan. Titan arrived at Titan orbit. Okay, so the nitrogen's in orbit when the Zeus arrives. Oh, the Zeus is also arrived. Zeus, take that nitrogen to Mars. I've got one in orbit that arrived since I ordered one to arrive. Okay. There goes the CO2 generation on Venus. I've got a load there. Okay, so let's get that load to Mars. There goes the Callisto construction. We're up to 194. I've still got surplus power, although we're getting pretty close to you going through all the power. Go another 20. Another 20 in theory should be able to support like another 10 alloy extractors, or alloy smelting. Yeah, probably after those ones, then I'll swap over to making more alloys. Mars to Titan, Titan to Mars. Okay. That's a nitrogen to release. We'll wait until the Venus arrival, so I can release some CO2 in parallel with it. comes it from Venus. Venus orbit arrives at Mars. Okay. So release most of you. And all of you. And all of you. I can give that a little while to kick in. That's probably going to raise us like 0.12 at most. Medea has arrived. Once again, we're unloading. Yeah, I think we're just going to drop everything here on Mars. Just keep it simple. Or actually, no, let's use the Zeus. There's a reason for that. And that is, it's not going to complain as much of when I get down to clicking and dragging some of the stuff lower down. Oops, I forgot I need to delete the things that don't move. You don't move. Don't move. Okay, unloading the rest. Use the Zeus for pretty much everything except for the water. And the engine. As long as I don't go over the 24K, it will accept my click and drags. Not me having to enter anything. I can even do some of the water as well. There we go. Okay. And then you can drop to Mars. Orbital payload container. All the water and the food. There we go. Much quicker that way. And give it 3 days to drop. Here's my drop. And collision time. Idea to Mars. Idea crashed on Mars. So in theory, I now have more water on Mars. It's more frozen water on Mars, because Mars is being hard to get when it gets to melting stuff, but, you know, we're trying. Why aren't you running? Oh, I'm out of rares. I might want to bring a rare asteroid to crash into Mars at some point. Debushin, Lutetia, and Ceres are the only OG research outposts that are not on permanent bodies left to deal with. So Debushin is going to be next. Debushin is going to be next. So we'll plan the Zeus flight to Debushin. I think that's where we'll put the part break in. Mars orbit. The Zeus. Adding a 21 engines. There you go. So that's where we're going to go ahead and put the part break in. In many ways, maybe less progress on the terraforming of Mars. We're still sort of stuck around 0.11 atmos of pressure on Mars. I think one of the things that might be happening is I raise the pressure on Mars, more of the water is just dropping out of the atmosphere, which is not really helping to get the atmosphere up. Although eventually that is going to hopefully result in liquid ocean. Yeah, we're looking at about 2 megatons of water. None of it's liquid yet. So we've got about a fifth the water we need here. Yeah, we need to defrost, which is a little bit of a problem. The thing I need to do is I need to get pressure up. Get the pressure up to 0.11. We need to get up to, like, as it says here in the quest, up to 0.55. We need to get up, like, half an atmosphere. And extracting CO2, we're turning it into oxygen. I suppose that might technically be pressure negative, but that's how one of the ways we're getting oxygen to keep the oxygen concentration correct. On Jupiter, we're coming up on another nitrogen release. We're getting about 4 tons per day now. That's still pretty slow, but we're working on it. Building 5 of these orbital gas extractors a day, or 5 of these at a time, so it'll be 5 every 90 days. We got a lot queued up, which is one of the reasons I'm not working to get more stuff at Jupiter right away. Hypothetically, beginning the plan to do basically the same at Saturn. In fact, maybe that is what I should do in the next one, is we'll start off hauling polymers, alloys, and electronic circuits to Saturn, so we can get Saturn also making 5 a day. Although the rain hasn't arrived yet. The rain arrives December next year. So it's a little way out for that. And then we have out at Triton, we're going to colonize the last gas giant moon that we haven't done yet. But yeah, things I think are going well. And yeah, doing a quick check here as we're bringing the stream bringing this part to a close. I am down to 3 achievements left to get in the game as it stands. The Windy Planet, which is colonize any moon in Neptune. That's why we're thinking about Neptune. And then we got Fast Terraformer and Mars Terraformer, which is complete the contracts Mars Water and Mars Atmosphere. Is Mars Water the one after Blue Mars? Was Mars Water the other one? Mars Water, the other might have been the other one. I might not have to actually do Blue Mars. I might only have to do Mars Atmosphere. Okay. We'll see. And then Fast Terraformers do the Mars Terraformed, but by 2600. So we got 3 achievements to go. We are going to try to terraform 3 planets. We're going to try to do Mars, Luna, and Mercury. Although we'll see how long it takes to do Mars. I might calm down and only just do Mars for the moment. But yeah, we'll see how quickly it takes to terraform Mars. I think the Moon and Mercury should be faster. Like, we need half as much water on the Moon. And there are also different challenges, I suppose, in the case of Mercury and the Moon. I need to get the temperature down instead of up on these 2. Yeah, that's what we got to do there. So yeah, this is where we're going to go ahead and put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, this is the break where we're going to take the midstream tea break, where I go make a new cup of tea. So until the next part, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and/or stream, and bye for now.